Assalamu alaikum dear students, welcome to your channel The Anatomy Canvas. In today's class we are going to discuss the OSPE Preparation for endocrine and the reproductive system, including both the pathology and the pharmacology. So here is the first slide. This is the slide of the multinodular goiter. First have a look at the normal histological features. Here you can see the normal follicles of the thyroid gland, which are lined by the cuboidal epithelium, and inside the follicle here you can see the colloid. In this slide you can see the varying sizes of the colloid thyroid follicles are present. Some are very large and other are very small. The lumen contains large amount of the colloid which is present, and in those follicles which are very large, having large amount of the colloid in their lumen, their epithelium become low cuboidal to flattened. So here in this location also you can see the follicles, they are lined by flattened to low cuboidal epithelium, and here you can see thick colloid is present. So the identification point for this slide and how you can differentiate the abnormal from the normal, that the varying sizes of the follicles, and some follicles are very large, they contain a large amount of the colloid in their lumen, and the lining epithelium become low cuboidal to flattened. This is the histopathological slide of the multinodular goiter. Here you can see the different sizes of the thyroid follicles which are present and containing a large amount of the colloid in their lumen. Also the area of the resorption of the colloid are also evident. Here you can see these empty spaces which are showing excessive area of the resorption of the colloid. Also among other features, a very important feature which you can appreciate over here, this is the septas which are formed by the connective tissue which are present in the multinodular goiter. So how you can differentiate this from the normal one, that the large number of the follicles which are larger size and irregular shapes and size, some are very small, others are very large, they have clear resorption areas at the periphery, and also the septas which are formed by the connective tissue which convert the structure into multinodular goiter. Then another slide for the fibroid uterus, and in this slide, this one is the normal slide, and in this you can see the smooth muscle cells which are present in the myometrium. Here in this slide you can see the smooth muscle cells are also present, but their whorled pattern is present, and fibers are interlacing with the spindle shaped cells with the prominent nuclei, large number of the fibers, and usually when we take a larger section we see that they are covered by the connective tissue which separate them from the surrounding normal myometrium of the uterus. In this slide you can see the normal myometrium of the uterus, and in this area you can see interlacing fibers, fascicles of the smooth muscle cells, and they are arranged in the varying patterns. Also you can see the nuclei which are present in these cells. These nuclei are elongated, they are cigar shaped with blunt or tapered ends and the fine chromatin. So these are the different points by which you can identify the slide of the leiomyoma. So next slide is the ductal carcinoma in situ. First look at this slide. This one is the lower magnification of the mammary gland, and here you can see the lobular arrangement of the mammary gland, different lobules. These are in inactive stages, and most of the cells they are formed in the present in the form of the ducts. Here you can see also the ducts which are present. So in case of the ductal invasive carcinoma, here you can see the histological features include expanded ducts. Here you can see the expanded ducts are the lobules, sometimes acini and enlarged to that extent that they resembles ducts that were given the name of the ductal carcinoma in situ. But important point to remember is that they do not breach their basement membrane, and their basement membrane is intact. Different architectural variation may be present. So cell may be present in the form of the solid cards. They may be present in the form of the cribriform plates, cribriform area like papillary and the micropapillary growth. Also there may be the areas of the calcification and areas of necrosis may be present. So these are the ductal carcinoma in situ, and in which you can see it is remained in a single lobule, may be present in the single lobule, and very important point is that they do not breach the basement membrane. Next is the lobular carcinoma in situ, and in lobular carcinoma in situ, the different histological feature you can appreciate that this cohesive cells with a small uniform or the rounded nuclei. So in all these areas you can appreciate the rounded nucleus, round to oval nucleus of the cells with the clear cytoplasmic vacuole. In this area you can also appreciate over here in these spaces you can also appreciate clear cytoplasmic vacuoles which are present, and they are filling and distending the lobules in a monotonous pattern without significant pleomorphism. Also this is the carcinoma in situ, so it did not breach the basement membrane. It is localized to a single lobule, and it is usually easily identified on the mammographic studies. In this slide also you can see the normal tissue and the abnormal tissue. So this one is the normal histological features of the mammary gland, and here you can see the lobular carcinoma in situ as well. Next is the slide for the invasive ductal carcinoma, and in this slide you can see the irregular malignant cell growth which are infiltrating the surrounding stroma. These cells may be present in the form of the nest, these may be present in the form of the cards or the sheet, and they are usually associated with the desmoplasmic reaction. So here you can see in dark eosinophilic areas they show large amount of the connective tissue which is the desmoplasia, which is related to invasive ductal carcinoma. So these are very important points. In addition to this, the single file, the cells may be arranged, they may be present in the form of the cards. There may be some signet ring cells which may also be present, and here you can appreciate the signet ring cells which are present. In these signet ring cells, the mucin which is present in the cell, they pushes the nucleus to the periphery and giving a signet ring appearance. So this is the ductal invasive ductal carcinoma. Important identification points that the cells are invading the surrounding stroma. They are present in the form of the cell nest, cell cards or cell sheets, and strong desmoplasmic reaction is present. Next is the slide for the invasive lobular carcinoma. So in invasive lobular carcinoma, the discohesive cells infiltrating the stroma individually are in the form of the single file linear cards. So in this you can see the single file linear cards which are present in these areas. These are infiltrating the stroma, present in the form of the single cards. Surrounding this is the connective tissue. These are the some ducts which are also involved, and also another important point is the cells may have the plasmacytoid appearance, meaning by this that they have the larger nucleus with the rim of the cytoplasm around the nuclei. Also the signet ring cells may be present. So to differentiate between these two different types of the invasive carcinoma, in the invasive ductal carcinoma the cells are present usually in the form of the cards, nest or sheets, while in case of the invasive lobular carcinoma the cells usually present in the form of the single file linear cards. So these are the differentiating points for the invasive lobular carcinoma and invasive ductal carcinoma. So here are the four different stages. First is the terminal duct lobular unit. Here you can see the normal morphology. In this area you can see the hyperplasia, the enlarged units are present. lobular units. In this slide you can see the atypical ductal hyperplasia, and the insert you can see even at the higher magnification. You can appreciate that the duct is involved, also the connective tissue surrounding the duct is involved, the nucleus to cytoplasmic ratio is increased. Now this is the ductal carcinoma in situ, and this is the invasive breast cancer, in which you can see there are the no architectural detail are present in the mammary gland. Cells have invaded all of the surrounding area. There are no cohesive pattern between the cells, and these cells invade all of the tissue, and they may be present in the form of the cords, the nest, the sheets. Nuclear to cytoplasmic ratio, you can see it is changes. Large nucleus with the prominent mitotic figures are usually present. So these are the different stages of the carcinoma breast. Also in this slide, this is the ductal carcinoma in situ with the low grade early stages. Here you can see the intermediate grade, the ductal carcinoma in situ, and here you can see the high grade, which is the solid type, in which the lumen contains large number of the secretory products. And also in this is the micropapillary. You can appreciate the micropapillary pattern of the ductal carcinoma over here. So these are the different stages of the ductal carcinoma in situ. Now we move on to some of these slides for the pharmacology, and a main learning objective for the pharmacology for this block are the prescription writing. So first you should know what are the different parts of a prescription, then you will be able to write down the prescription. So first you should know the superscript which is present. This superscript have the information about the doctor name, its qualification, its PMDC number. Also it contains the details of the patient, its name, age, sex, weight and address, and also the date is included. So these are the part of the superscript. Then we will having the subscript and the inscript. So in the subscript and inscript portion, these are basically written for the pharmacist, in which different drugs with their generic name or trade names are written, and in inscript we will also write down the dosage according to which it should be given to the patient. Here you can see the portion which contains very concise history and if any investigation which are required, and here are the signature of the doctor who is attending. So first prescription is that of the acute urinary tract infection. Typically patient present with the lower abdominal pain, the vomiting and the burning micturition. The investigations which are required are the urine complete examination and blood complete examination. And what are the different medication which we are prescribing? These are the tablets ciprofloxacin 500 mg BID, means 2 times daily for 3 to 5 days. Also you should remember that whatever in area in which you are running your clinic, you have to write these informations in the local language as well. So the next is the tablet spasfon. This is also given twice daily. For patient comfort, you can also write it down as 1+1 for the 5 days. Also you can give the Apocrine sachet in a glass of water twice daily for 3 to 5 days. And another important is tablet Panadol, given 3 times daily in case patient is having the temperature, and here it will be the signature of the doctor. Next is chronic UTI, and in chronic UTI, after the basic information, the first history showing the increased urine frequency, urgency, dysuria and suprapubic pain. Patient the investigation which are required are the urine, RE, the blood complete picture, the urine culture and sensitivity, and ultrasound abdomen, that is the KUB view, means kidney ureter bladder. The treatment which is given to the patient is the tablet levofloxacin 500 mg twice daily for 5 days, tablet spasfon twice daily for 5 days, phosphomycin sachet 3 gram in a glass of water. This is a stat dose given just once. And then the Panadol TDS in 3 times daily dosage in case patient is having the temperature. Next is the Graves' disease. In case of the Graves' disease, patient present with a severe weight loss, there is increased sweating and history of the tremors. And on examination, you can see the heart rate is very increased. It may be more 100 per minute or more than this. And on investigation, you will find that T3 and T4 both the enzymes are raised. So we will give the new Mercazole 5 mg TDS to the patient, and it will be continued. And in addition to new Mercazole, you will prescribe the tablet Indral 40 mg once daily for 10 days to give the symptomatic relief to the patient. Also the eye patch at night is so given to the patient, and then the signature. The last one is that of the diabetes mellitus, and usually patient present with polydipsia, polyuria, polyphagia. On examination, you can see BP is normal, temperature is normal. On investigation, you will see the HbA1c is raised. It is uncontrolled. It is 8% or more than this. So we will give the anti-diabetic medicine to the patient, that is tablet metformin 500 mg twice daily, and tablet should be taken before the meal. And at the end you will be having the signature of the doctor. Thanks all for your attention, and Allah Hafiz till the next class.